Hi and welcome back to cloudwords.net and another pCloud review, which is going to be a little different because, as you might have seen from the length of this video, it is going to be a deep dive version. In this deep dive, I'm going to review the software obviously, but I'm going to focus much more on how to use it and what kind of features you have basically on offer that you can use when signing up for the pCloud service. Now, if you're short on time, I highly recommend you watch the short pCloud review version that basically compresses everything that you can see here in this video in probably 4 to 5 minutes, and I'll leave you the video here in the description above so you can view that as well. And as this video is quite lengthy, you will find in the description box, you will find timestamps so that you can navigate the video and the chapters that interest you the most. You can just click on the timestamp and then the video would jump on to the right section of the video. Obviously, I would love for you to watch the whole thing because it's been quite a lot of work to put all this together. And I myself have been reviewing cloud storage services for probably the last 10 years. And on CloudWords, we have reviews of over 50 cloud storage services. And pCloud is certainly one of our favorite providers. It's currently, as of the recording of this video, on number 2 of our best list. So in this video, what we're going to do is we're going to jump into several features of pCloud. We are going to talk about how does file synchronization work? What is pCloud Drive, and what is the difference between pCloud Drive and file synchronization, and how do these two things tie together and make up for a good cloud storage strategy. Also, we are going to look at how you can use the media streamer to create your own music playlists and then stream them from pCloud wherever you are. And also, we are going to look at a very important pCloud feature, which is pCloud encryption that describes the end-to-end encryption of secure file transfer, because usually files are only encrypted on transit and at rest on the server, but there's also the option to encrypt your files client-side. So I hope you join me on this journey, on this deep dive journey. Also, since this is probably the first video that is in this deep dive format, I would really love for you to leave a comment if you like this format despite the length, and if you would like us to produce more of these deep dives of other services. If you have a suggestion, what service we review next, where do you want to see a deep dive about next, please leave a comment. And before we continue, also subscribe to the channel and hit the like button, because this helps the YouTube algorithm to push our videos forward and to gain even more subscribers so we can produce more videos for you guys. Thank you very much. And now let's get into pCloud. pCloud pricing and plans. Now, there are a little bit of developments in the cloud storage world regarding pricing. A couple of years ago, we only saw month-to-month or annual pricing for your cloud storage plans. That's how most people are used to using cloud storage. Then we had a little bit of a development where you saw a lot of weird cloud storage services popping up, offering unlimited storage. Obviously, those cloud storage services went bust. Now we're seeing another trend, which is lifetime cloud storage plans. Now, lifetime cloud storage plans are interesting because you pay an upfront fee, say a couple $100, and then you get access for life to that cloud storage account. And pCloud is I think it's one of the first services who really made this pricing scheme popular. And you can get pCloud lifetime storage plans, but there are obviously some caveats to the lifetime plans that we are going to discuss in this video. And if you're interested in that, obviously stick around. And there are other providers now more and more offering these lifetime plans. You can still choose the month-to-month payments, and you're certainly most flexible with that because then you're not locking yourself in. But obviously, you get a lot of savings when going for lifetime cloud storage. Now, I'll show you the different plans and pricing methods you can choose with pCloud, and so that's a little bit easier for you to understand. I'll hop onto my screen, so follow me. Now here we are on the main pricing plan. So when you clicked on the link in the description box below or on CloudWords, you will find this plan. And you can here choose between annual and lifetime. And as you can see here, I am in euros, but it would be the same US dollar price. So you could switch the language to whatever, or the country to whatever you are in. And then you would then see this price in US dollars. And usually it comes heavily discounted. Here now it's 65% off. We do have several discounts on CloudWords on a regular basis. I mean, Black Friday obviously would be the most common case that you might know. But here you can choose between annual and lifetime plans. Now, lifetime is 350 euros for 2 terabyte, and it'll give you, as I said, 2 terabytes of storage, and also it gives you 2 terabyte of share link traffic, which means when you go in to pCloud and share a link and upload files, so obviously this is the bandwidth that you will get with that cloud storage service, and you can use those 2 terabytes per month, basically, as you will use your shared traffic. They do this because obviously they want to avoid people using this as a file sharing service where people start uploading movies and then share those movies with their friends and family or other people, even on forums, and they will be like a second mega upload for those of you who still know this. So that's why they put a bandwidth limit in here, and you'll get a 30 days trash history, meaning when you put things into your trash, it'll be recovered. Now, personally, I can tell you that I'm on a premium family plan. As you can, when you scroll down, these are the personal plans here, which is certainly good enough for individuals. But if you have a family and more than 1 or 2 people are going to be using pCloud, you should go for the family plan, which it has a bit more flexibility. You also have the one-time flexible lifetime payment of $500 or 500 euros, get 2 terabytes of storage, but you can invite up to 5 users or family members can use that account, and then you can basically spread the storage between those different accounts. So you can allocate storage to your spouse or to your children that they can use at their own leisure, basically. So that's a family plan. And a more advanced option is the pCloud business plan, which has a lot more options and a lot more flexibility. And you can try the business plan for free. You can then invite coworkers that get a certain storage quota and so on. But for the personal users, I would really suggest you look at the Premium Plus plan or the Premium plan, which usually is the best bang for your buck. And if you have more than a couple of people using the storage plan, you go for the family plan. Now, when I open up pCloud, here you can see that I am on the family lifetime plan, and I'm using quite a lot of storage already, 1.7 terabytes. And how I use this storage and how I manage my cloud storage, basically, I will show you in another video, or basically in the same video, but you can check it out in the jump marks if it interests you, how, for example, pCloud Drive or pCloud Sync works. Now, this has been like a little bit of an introduction into the pCloud lifetime plans and the pCloud annual plans. I hope you enjoyed this. So this was just a short introduction into the pCloud pricing plans, and I hope that you have now a better overview of what is the best plan for your needs. And next up, we are going to dive deeper into how pCloud works and how I'm using it for myself and also for my company. One of the newer additions as of July 2020 is that pCloud now finally allows users to pick between 2 different data centers. Before, pCloud only was available in the US, in Texas, I believe, Dallas, Texas. So I had a data center there, which was obviously a little bit unsecure for people who are looking for the right amount of data security and data protection, especially when using this as a business and you are in the European Union. So there might be some data protection regulations that you need to adhere to, and you are not allowed to store files in the US. Now, pCloud is a Swiss company, so technically all files and all that falls under Swiss data protection laws, which are probably one of the strongest in the world. But now, fortunately, pCloud has the option for new users to pick the European Union as a data center option, which is in Luxembourg. So it will comply with a lot more of the regulations for European users and also offer maybe a little bit of peace of mind for people who don't like to see their files hosted in the US. Doesn't matter if it falls under Swiss privacy laws or not. Existing users will be able to switch data centers at some point in time. We don't have an exact launch date yet, so stay tuned for that, but we are very happy to see this as an option. I just wanted to include this into this video so you know that you have this option and you switch between data centers at the beginning of signing up. pCloud Drive is probably my favorite pCloud feature because this is what I use the most. And the Drive concept is obviously something that some of you might know from external hard drives or even connected network drives that you can access on your computer or on your network. And those files are obviously then not stored locally on your computer, thus they do not take up hard drive space. And that is the beauty of pCloud Drive. Now let's say you opted for the 2 terabytes plan, which I have. So you're getting basically a 2 terabyte external hard drive in the cloud that you can access from anywhere and connect it as a drive to your computer. Now obviously, it doesn't work exactly like an external hard drive because obviously you need an internet connection, and that's the only downside that pCloud Drive has. However, as we've seen in another chapter of this video with file synchronization, you can take those files from Drive offline, so you can access them anywhere even if you don't have an internet connection, and then enable a two-way synchronization where files that you add to that folder will also be synchronized to another folder via pCloud Drive. Now, this is basically already the beauty of it, and I want to show you how this looks like in the pCloud app on my computer, so let's hop straight in. As you can see here, I just went into the settings menu here in pCloud Drive, and one thing that is quite useful is when you upload files to pCloud Drive, it will add files to the cache, and you can increase the cache size so we will have basically more room to play with when you access files locally, or you can clear the cache if you're like very constrained in your space that you have in your computer, and then it will free up some of the hard drive space. Now, as we've seen in another chapter of this video, pCloud Drive sits on your computer just as a network drive. For example, here I connected my my NAS where I store all my videos, and you can see by this little icon that this is a drive that's basically embedded via a network connection. Now, when I go into my pCloud Drive, I can just open the Cloud Drive here, and it looks the same as a network drive, and you can find all your files here, and you can access files by right-click and then share files, invite people to folders, request upload of files, or, as we've seen in another chapter, synchronize or make files available offline. And also here on the left side you can see it's an exact representation, of course, from the files that I have here in my pCloud Drive folder, because it sits as discussed previously in the cloud. Now, I can upload files here on my Mac, and then it will obviously show directly after here on the Drive folder. But the same thing happens when you delete files. So when I go into a folder, and if I delete one of these folders, obviously this is what you have to know is that then these files will be deleted from the drive as well, and you won't have access to those files anymore via the drive. And that's basically what I wanted to show you. I use this feature all the time. I use it as an external hard drive in the cloud to free up a lot of space, especially when I'm traveling, and this has been highly useful. Also, you can use as we've seen before, the drive to invite people to these folders and then collaborate and receive files from anybody that you'd like to, and you have all the different access that you have with file sharing and synchronization as well. I hope I could show you a little bit how Drive works and get you a feel if that's something that might be useful, and we'll see us in the next chapter. pCloud and file sharing. Now, file sharing is probably at the core of each cloud storage service, because the idea is that obviously you upload files to the cloud and then be able to access them from anywhere in the world, and also so that other people can access those files. Those could be documents, can be photos, can be videos, can be any type of file that you want other people to see, and maybe you don't want to publish these photos on Facebook or Instagram or what have you, because those are private family photos that you want actually no one to see. And that's where cloud storage services come in, where you can upload a folder or a file or whatever document you want, and then you create a public or private link. And pCloud works in the same way. You upload a document, you create a shared link, and then you send it off to whoever wants to receive it or has to receive it. And in this video, I'm just going to show you briefly how this works. And the good thing is with pCloud, you have a lot of options to really fine-tune the sharing permissions and who actually gets access to what. And I hope you join me in this section of the video, and I'm going to show you how it works right now. So I'm here in my pCloud account. It looks pretty standard. I mean, we have a couple of folders here. Okay, so here is the CloudWords folder where we upload YouTube videos so that our editor can edit our videos. And these folders can be shared with external people. So you have different options here. When you right-click, you can either share the link of that folder, and then you have different options that you see here. You can either copy the link and then just share it to anybody, and then people will have access to it, or you say, I want to password protect it. So you can add a password protection to that folder so that you can add a different layer or another layer of security to it. What's really interesting is that you can add an expiration date. So you might want to send a document to a contractor, and that link expires after a week or so if the contractor, I don't know, doesn't react to whatever you're sending them. So this is where these expiration dates come in very handy. You can even personalize the links with a logo and stuff. I've not done this yet. You could use your company photo here, or you could do, if you want to share the family album, you could use like a picture of your family so that it's absolutely clear what this folder is about and everyone knows what's happening. And these are just a couple of the options that you have with sharing files. Now, you can also invite people to a folder. If other pCloud users shall collaborate in this folder and also upload files into that folder, you invite these people. They do need to have a pCloud account, obviously, to be able to work in this folder, but you could also invite them here with this. If you share the link, people do not need to have a pCloud account in order to access those files, and you could also create an upload link to that folder where you can say, okay, anyone can upload basically files to this folder. And this is very useful if, for example, you had a big party, a wedding, for example, and you want to collect all the different pictures that people took on that wedding. You could say, okay, anyone can upload photos to this folder, so you can collect from anyone the photos and then later on go in and sort through all the ones that you'd like to keep. So I use this quite a lot, not only for my business where I work with contractors, but also on a personal level where I work a lot when I'm at a party and I really just want to have all the photos from all the people, because you might miss the best photo of the night. So here is where people can upload that. Overall, there are a lot of different options that you have, as you can see, with these folders and files that you can share. I showed you now the folder sharing, but obviously this also works with individual files. And I really hope I could show you a little bit how this works. Now there's a different feature called file request feature where you can also just generate a folder and then people can upload files into it, and I'm going to dedicate a separate video to this. But file sharing is, as I said before, at the core of cloud storage, and pCloud works really well, and we're using it here at our office and at home basically on a daily basis. pCloud and file synchronization. Now, file synchronization is probably one of the most well-known concepts of cloud storage services and what most people want to achieve when they start thinking about getting a solution, a cloud storage solution. The concept has been made famous probably by Dropbox back in 2008 because they were like the first company to show that you don't need an FTP server to actually get access to all your files no matter where you are, and they made this synchronization concept available to the larger crowd by giving 2 GB of free storage to a lot of people, and that's what made them basically popular. Now, fast forward 12 years now, back in 2020, there are other providers that use this concept and maybe take it a little bit to another level or take a different spin to it, and that's what we're going to talk about in this chapter of the video. We're going to talk about the pCloud file synchronization, and it works a lot in combination with the pCloud Drive. So pCloud Drive works in conjunction with file synchronization because you need the pCloud Drive in the cloud where files will be transferred and then synchronized between all of your machines. But you could have a computer, a Macintosh computer for home use, and then you have another work computer that's a Windows machine and could synchronize files back and forth. And we're going to discuss this scenario in this video, and if that's something that sounds interesting, stick around and follow me to my computer. Okay, so here we are basically in 2 systems. I have here on the left side, this is my Windows computer, and I have on the right side, I have my Macintosh computer, and I'm connected to the pCloud Drive. Now, remember that when you look at files on pCloud Drive, you can only look at them if you are connected to the internet. That's what Drive is required. It will require an internet connection because it can then download the files for you to view. If you sync files, however, then you can also access files offline. So I have a test folder of photos and videos that I do want to sync. Now, the test folder, I will start it here from my Windows computer. I open the pCloud software, I add a new sync, and then I can choose between a local folder or a pCloud Drive folder. When you choose a pCloud Drive folder, basically do the other way around because you'll make files available offline from the pCloud Drive folder. But what I want to do is I want to choose a local folder to sync it up to the pCloud Drive so that I can then sync it to other computers or access it on the go wherever I am. So I choose a local folder and go to the desktop, and I choose the test photos and videos folder, selecting it, and when I hit add synchronization, it will add the folder to the file synchronization stack, and you can see it's transferring the files at roughly 3, 4, 5 megabytes per second. And look at what happens here on the right hand side on my Macintosh computer. It's already created on the pCloud Drive in the cloud the test photos and videos, and you can see here on the green check mark that it's synchronized to the cloud and basically ready for us to view and ready for us to use. And when it's done, you can see everything is uploaded, everything is downloaded, synchronization is complete, and everything here is complete as well. Now, as I said before, it's in the pCloud Drive, so you cannot access it offline. But what if you want to have like a 2-way sync? So you want to have this folder available offline and also drag and drop files in here because you're working on this folder at home, but then when you're at the office or wherever you have the other computer, you want to have access to the files that you've just edited or added. Now, of course, if you have an internet connection, you could use the pCloud Drive and you don't have to sync it to your local files. But for the sake of this video, or for this section of the video, I'd like to do the offline sync. So you just right-click here and select offline synchronization. And then it would create a synchronization folder from pCloud Drive to your local computer. I hit add new sync, and then it would sync up the files locally. You can see here in my favorites tab, I've already created the test photo folder is created, and it's now syncing the files here. You can see the files are already popping up, and this works when the file is smaller, quite fast. Obviously, when you have bigger files, if a gigabyte or 2 gigabytes, that might take a while until everything is synchronized, but it will mostly depend on your internet connection. Now I have a two-way sync between my Macintosh computer and my other machine here. What you can see now is, let me minimize that so we can have a look at this Windows folder. When I pull up this again, it's now properly synchronized. When I add a few photos to this folder, it will upload these photos, and after a smaller break, you can see here those photos are already popping up because it's being synchronized. That's how fast it goes. It's almost instant. Obviously, the bigger the files are, the longer you have to wait. That's just the nature of how this works. And then you can do all the other things with those files that you know already from pCloud, like sharing files, etc. So I really hope that this gave you like a good overview of how file synchronization works. We are going to look at a few more examples of pCloud Drive in this video, and if you're interested in more aspects of this software, stay tuned for the next chapter. Now let's talk encryption. I think encryption is probably the most important aspect that has changed in the cloud storage industry over the last probably 5 years or so, because when Dropbox first announced their service back in 2008, your files were encrypted, but only on transit and at rest on the servers. But now that more and more people are using cloud storage services, privacy has become a huge concern. So a lot of the newer cloud storage services, they put an emphasis on encryption, but not only transit encryption and at rest encryption on the servers, but also end-to-end encryption, so that only you or the people you want to have access to your files. Not even the employees at the company could look at your files, or even worse, you would fall victim to a man-in-the-middle attack, and then other people would have access to your files. That would be the worst case scenario. And pCloud introduced personal or private end-to-end encryption a couple of years ago. I'm not quite sure exactly when they started this, but it's certainly a very welcomed addition to the service, and something that before that was actually enabled was on our wish list basically for this service to be a very good contender in the field. Now, private encryption means when you pick private encryption, you choose a key, a password that you should never forget, because once chosen this password and you want to access to your files, you need this password to decrypt all the files. But if you forget it, there's no way to recover it. The basic concept where, hey, put in your email address and we'll send you your password, obviously does not work, because only you will have access to your files. So choose passwords carefully for private encryption, because there's no way you can recover them later on. I recommend using a password manager, and you can find reviews of password managers in this channel and on cloudwoods.net, or just use pen and paper and write it down and put it somewhere where it's safe. pCloud offers encryption as a paid add-on, and that is something which is a bit unfortunate, because we can clearly see a development of encryption being like the standard in new and upcoming cloud storage services. But nevertheless, it's a very good addition to the service, and you should really consider if those roughly $4 a month are worth it to you. The added privacy is worth it to you. And let me show you a little bit how that works now on my computer. So as you can see, I'm logged in here into my standard pCloud account. You can see the files and folders that I've created. But there's obviously something else that you can see, because you don't see the encrypted files here. Those are moved into an external folder here called crypto folder. And when you click on it, you are asked to paste in or type in your password to unlock the folder. So if I do this here, so I'm pasting in my crypto pass, and it says crypto is unlocked. And you can see here are the locked folders. Now, the downside with private encryption here on pCloud is that you have no sharing you have no sharing capabilities with these folders. So when you click on the three dots where you would normally find your sharing information, you could say, okay, request files, but it says you cannot create a link to encrypted file or folder. That is, so you lose certainly collaboration features in exchange for a higher level of privacy. But once you have access to the crypto folder, you can obviously view your data. I have nothing in here in the test folder, but you could add, obviously, just as you normally would via drag and drop or upload files via the upload menu. And then once you're done, basically, you can lock the crypto folder again so that you would require a password. And obviously, you can also access the crypto folder on the desktop interface. So there's a menu item called Unlock Crypto. So now you see, okay, the crypto folder is basically locked because we don't have any access to the files. And then you could, by typing in your password, unlock the crypto folder, and then you would have access to the crypto folder on your Macintosh or Windows computer just as a regular folder, and you can work with it. Now, how much does pCloud crypto cost? Well, this is obviously the downside of the service, because when you look at the plans here, as I said, you have the lifetime or the annual plans, but let's look at the annual plans just for the sake of your argument. You're looking at roughly $8 per, now this is euros, but the price will be the same in dollars. You look at roughly $8 per month for a 2 terabyte version of pCloud. But that does not include pCloud crypto, because when you go into the encryption folder, you can see, okay, it costs an additional $47.88, or roughly $4 per month. So you would end up paying roughly $12 per month. Now, obviously, there's the lifetime option, and if you go for pCloud, I would probably recommend go for the lifetime version, where you could then pay $125 for the lifetime version and an additional $350 for the storage. So basically you combine those, and then you don't have to pay anything on an annual basis, and roughly after 3-4 years you are ending up having a pretty cheap cloud storage solution with encryption. Now, there's another service that includes encryption, which is sync.com, and the pricing looks a bit different. They offer for individuals a basic plan for $8 per month, and they include 2 terabytes of storage. And the only downside here is that it is billed annually, so there is no month-to-month option if you, for example, just want to check it out. But you can look at all the features that they're offering, and private end-to-end encryption is included here for this $8 per month. So you would end up a little bit cheaper with sync.com, but on the other hand, Sync does not have lifetime plans. So you would basically have to find out for yourself what is the best solution. Now, no matter what solution you choose for yourself, I really would recommend you not use anything that doesn't offer private encryption, no matter which cloud storage service you choose. So Dropbox, for example, does not have, for the consumer plan, does not have private encryption, nor does OneDrive at the time of this video. So you will really have to choose carefully when deciding, okay, how much is your privacy worth? And personally, I think $4 a month is a fair trade for an additional layer of security. File requests is a very interesting and useful feature because it allows you to basically collaborate with people even if they don't have a pCloud account, because people can just upload files to a folder where you have enabled file requests. So this can be either from contractors that you're working with, designers, or other media producers, or this can be also used on a personal or private level when, for example, you are at a wedding and you want to collect all the photos from different people that were taken on that wedding. So you can send via email or messenger, you can send a link, and all people with different cameras can upload their camera roll basically into that shared folder without them having to create a pCloud account. And this is what I'm going to show you right now here on my computer. So as you can see here, I'm in my test photos and videos folder. There are like file previews and stuff. But now what I want to do is I want to actually enable this folder as an upload folder. So these three dots here always indicate that there is like an option menu behind the folder or the file that you can select. So in this case, the only thing that you need to do is select the three dots and say request files, and then it would generate a file request link. And as usual for other shared links, you have certain settings and can add a message for people that are seeing these file requests. You can add an upload limit if you don't want to have people upload too much to your folder and then use up all your quota. And you can set an expiration date, which is also quite useful. Now, and the only thing that you need to do now is basically copy this link and then share it to other people that want to have, that should have access to the folder. Now let me just, to demonstrate how this looks, open up a private browser window. So I'm not logged into pCloud right now because it's a private window. And I paste in the URL of the link. And what happens is that it will say, okay, this is a file request, and we can now upload your files here by just drag and dropping or just selecting files from your system menu, and then you add your name, and then it will appear an upload folder with your name in the folder that you've created the request for. So you would just add your name here, and then let's just drag a few files into the drag and drop line, and I would say, okay, let's just upload these files. And you can see the uploaded process, 100% uploaded, files are uploaded. Now, let's look back into my pCloud account and see how this looks in the folder. So I can close that, and you can see here is a new folder created, 3 files from Mauricio on July 8th. So you know exactly how many files were uploaded by that user. You can go in and then preview your files, and all looks good. So that is the beauty of file requests. And it's a very useful feature that I use basically on a daily basis, and I'm very happy that more and more cloud storage services are actually offering this, and pCloud is a very good example that this can work very easily. You can use pCloud as a media streaming solution because pCloud would stream the most common media files like MP4s or MP3s. And this is especially useful if you have been digitalizing your music collection for songs that are not available on the streaming platforms like iTunes or Spotify, if you have a very old collection, for example, or for movies. They're not available on Netflix or any other streaming service. So you could use pCloud to stream your music files, and let's just hop onto my screen now and I can show you how that works. So here you can see I have a few audio files, MP3s, and they're listed here. You can click on them and then it would stream inside the web player. But obviously, probably no one is really using it inside the web player. That's why I've also opened up my phone here, so you can see you can also stream media files on your phone and on the go. So what you could do is you could say, okay, let me just select these 3 songs here, and I want to add a playlist. So let's create a new playlist, my favorite songs. I say add to playlist, and then files are added to the playlist. When you update the screen, then you have a new playlist with your favorite songs, and you could then go in, see the songs, and then hit play, and then it would just play the song for you, and you could scrub back and forth. I'm always want to do this with my mouse, but I cannot do it with the mouse because it's on my phone. You can scrub back and forth and play the song in pCloud. And the same thing works for, say, video files, because I frequently upload videos for Cloudwoods, obviously, to pCloud so that my video editor can process them and edit them and re-upload them to YouTube. So I could just go in here. So the only thing that you need to do is basically hit on the file, and then it would open up the media player, the streaming player, and then you could say, okay, let's play and preview the video, and as you can see, it's streaming nicely along. So you can also use this to manage and view even your videos. These are just a few of the opportunities and possibilities that you have with pCloud media streaming. It works quite well. Obviously, if you have a subscription to Spotify, it might not be like your daily go-to music streaming platform, but for the occasional rare song that you're not getting anywhere in any streaming platform, but you want to listen on the go, that's certainly a good solution. So there you have it. This was our pCloud deep dive. And obviously this was a fairly long video, but I hope with the chapters you found the right track that you were basically interested in. And if you like this format, please leave us a comment so that we know that these kind of videos are appreciated and we can produce more of them. Also give it a thumbs up, that helps us spread the word even more. Also, I'm very interested in what kind of cloud storage are you using? After viewing all these features, do you think pCloud is a good option for you? Please leave a comment how you intend to use pCloud or how you are already using it, or if you went for another cloud storage solution. All of that, please leave it in the comments. I'll read all of them and then reply as soon as I can. Hopefully we're going to see us in my next video. I'm Mauricio for cloudwoods.net. Bye-bye.